This helmet that I'm wearing on my head isn't just a regular helmet, it's a smart helmet. But what does the word smart actually mean? In the modern tech bubble, the word AI has sort of spun around for the last several years, and yet it's not immediately obvious where this technology is actually useful. Well, IPXers, I'm here at CES 2026 in Las Vegas outside the Alif Semiconductor booth, where I'm going to have a little chat with Henrik from Alif, who has several really cool demonstrations of where we can actually embed AI to do useful work. Henrik, great to see you again.
Thank you. Good to see you too.
We have sprawled in front of us 6 different applications using Alif technology, starting with the helmet that I'm wearing on my head.
You look very stylish now.
Thank you very much, Henrik. Tell me, starting with the helmet, what's your involvement?
So all these things on the table here, some of them are demonstrators that we've created together with partners just to kind of showcase use cases, but we also have a lot of real applications that customers of ours have designed. So the helmet that you're wearing on your head, for instance, this is essentially PPE equipment for construction workers when they're on job sites. If you kind of feel the back of the helmet, you'll feel that there's essentially a sensor pack sitting there.
Yeah.
And it monitors things like, the worker's temperature and, if they're in any kind of distress. There could be sensors in there, for instance, to check if the worker is upright or if they have, fallen down, if there's been an accident or things like that. There's also some kind of use for being able to track where people are. If somebody moves into a zone where, something is going on, something dangerous is about to happen, maybe you're about to blow something up and, you want to make sure that nobody is within the blast radius. So things like that is what is in the helmet. It's just a much more modern way leveraging edge AI to keep the workers safe.
And looking back onto this table of demonstrations, we've got a bunch of other cool applications using Alif chips, starting with this sensor. Henrik, what makes this sensor so cool?
I think this is a very interesting kind of innovation on the plastic occupancy sensor. These sit in the ceilings of, all the big office buildings, making sure that once a person goes into a conference room, for instance, the HVAC system turns on and the light turns on, things like that. Usually these sensors or these systems only use this PIR sensor. So essentially there's any kind of equipment that needs that, there's a person there. But this company, VergeSense, that designed this, they are also including cameras in these systems.
So they've integrated both the PIR sensor and the regular camera sensor.
Correct. So with PIR sensors, it's essentially a camera trigger now. So when there is movement, you take a picture, and then by analyzing that picture with the Alif device in this solution, you can kind of see what is going on right now. So there was movement, so there's a person there. And then there might be some more movement, and then maybe the person left. But did he leave anything behind? Did he put his computer on a chair? Is there a backpack there? Then the system can kind of know the intent of the person. He's probably going to come back for that. So I'm not going to turn the lights off just yet, or leave the lights on full so you can find the stuff. Or if the backpack has been sitting there alone for a long time, maybe call on the security and have them come pick it up because, he might have left it behind.
And so it appears on this level, you're actually enabling us to talk to your machines.
That is very true. This is something that I think is kind of exciting. We did this as a demonstrator with our partner Grovity. And when you buy an appliance, you get the manual, the installation guide for how to hook up your dishwasher or washing machine, things like that. There's always a troubleshooting section at the back of that. Of course, once something starts going wrong, then you can...
And it always will.
Yeah, well, eventually. But the thing is, you installed that thing 2 years ago, and now you can't remember where the manual is. So,
you probably chucked it in a bin somewhere. I don't know, you probably left it at your previous house.
Yeah.
So then online, you can't find, reference guides. What do you do?
Yeah. So the idea here is you can train a machine learning model on the content of that service manual. And then you can just ask the appliance, hey, you're behaving weirdly. How do I fix you? So I'll show you a demo of that. This is meant to be kind of the interface for a washing machine. So there is a weird rattling noise coming from the drum of the washing machine. Can you suggest how I can fix that, or maybe what might be wrong? And then it will come up with some suggestions for how you can figure out what the problem was that caused the rattling noise. But the point is, we enable systems like this to understand natural language. So it's not specific keywords. You can talk to the appliance in the same way that you talk to a person, which is, a particular way to interact with that type of technology.
And so in a similar vein, you've actually deployed onto a system that seems to sort of talk to like a runner or someone who's by themselves.
Well, we didn't do this. This is actually a customer of ours, and this is a personal security solution. It's essentially a smart camera that you can strap to your back. Maybe if you're riding a bike, you strap it to the back of your helmet. If you're running, you can put it to the back of your clothes, and it can see what is going on behind you. So this is for essentially keeping
Like a third eye behind your head.
yeah, somebody's coming up behind you, and might be for up to no good. Then it can warn you that, hey, there's something that you need to be aware of in your surrounding right now. So it's a company called Sims that has designed this personal safety technology using our devices.
And then lastly, we have kids' toys. What have you got to do with kids' toys?
So generative AI is something that is a bit of a buzz. I'm sure that you've heard the term before. And generative AI usually means that you have an enormous model running in the cloud somewhere. We actually have, in the latest generation Ensemble devices, the ability to run generative AI workloads on microcontrollers. And one of the use cases for wanting to do that is to make interactive toys that you can have sort of meaningful conversations with. So we decided to play around with that a little bit. We have deployed a version of Llama 2 on our E8 device here. And I can take a picture of you, and then I can have that generative AI model generate a little story about what you did today. So as you can see, it's outputting a lot of text right now. Got a pretty high symbol rate. We think that we can get this to go about twice as fast. But that's
one day the person was standing on a table with a sack. It's a good start. Exactly, for an exciting story. And all the general theme of these demonstrations is the idea of it making existing products more intelligent, running at lower power. So Alif, how do you guys make that possible?
So we have in our architecture created domains inside our silicon that are suitable for different parts of your application's duty cycle. We use a manufacturing technology that gives us excellent power characteristics when you are in those low power modes. Right. You're essentially idling, you're not doing anything. We also have different modes for when you're in the data collecting phase and when you're in the inference data processing phase of your application. So we can do all of those things while maximizing power efficiency all kind of through the process. You don't necessarily want all the fast cores and all the fast NPUs up and running while you're just collecting data. You want to be able to collect that data using something that is a bit more power efficient, but you still want to do a bit of processing so that you can kind of look for the trigger for when you want to wake up the high performance system to fully analyze this.
And so that's sort of the magic source behind this, is that your system effectively sleeps whilst doing, spending 90% of the time, and in that 1% of the time something happens, it triggers up and actually wakes up and sort of consumes power only within that moment.
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of different ways that you can save power. Sometimes the most efficient way to save power is to just do the work as fast as possible, right? Because then you stay home for a very short duration of time.
Awesome. Henrik, thank you for showing us just some of the amazing demonstrations you have. Where can we find more information about it?
You should always go look for more information about anything that we do on alifsemi.com, our website. We have all the information about our new products, our evaluation kits, our reference applications listed there. You can also, there's a contact form that you can use if you have specific questions. Reach out to us. We're more than happy to, chat with anybody who has any interest in our technology and, that wants to learn more about what we can do.